And I think the American Anchor Baby is going to be live after that. Very cool. It is 9 a.m. here in Los Angeles, and it's Wednesday, the 5th of June, AD 2024. And we're going to have a fun, loosey-goosey, the Hake report. Will we not? I never got to the Travis Kelce thing. I'll talk a little bit about it, I guess. Terrible. And I also never got to that other story, although I did touch on it a little bit. A little bit. Very little bit. Caitlin Clark, the black on white crime. To me, it's a funny story. And of course, your super chats and your calls, if you'd like to call in. Is there anything else that I wanted to touch on? You know, I better not make any promises, but there was this story that I've been meaning to get to, something that I've been trained not to allow myself to think, because they don't let you think this, they don't let you say this about the so-called false pride. Well, they don't call it false pride, but the false pride in the false identity and the evil things that so often, more often per capita, I do believe, come along with it. And I may get to that today. We will do our best, okay? So anyway, guys, let's just get right on with the show!
1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, it's the Hake report. The Hake report. La la la. Oh, it's the Hake report. The Hake report. La la la.
Hey, guys!
Oh, it's the Hake report. The Hake report. La la la. Oh, it's the Hake report. The Hake report. La la la.
So, how you guys doing? I am fine. I'm wearing my I Love Boomers t-shirt. I forgot that I had it. Forgot that I owned it. I like wearing shirts once I forgot that I owned them. You can get yours by going to thehakereport.com. Am I tweeting this out? Did I tweet this out? Let's see. Refresh. Oh, I don't know if I did. Let's see. Let me make sure that I tweet out this video here. Boom. Boom. Maybe it's going to be just in case post. Okay. How you guys doing? Thehakereport.com is how you can find my Teespring t-shirts and stuff, you know? Okay? Thehakereport.com, and that's where you can find the Teespring link in the menu. Teespring.com/stores/thehakereport or thehakereport.creator-spring.com, and that's where you can find the I Love Boomers t-shirt. Boomer simp, indeed. Because everybody's like, okay, boomer, on both sides, if you will, or on every side. You hear the so-called far right, the right-wingers being like, oh, okay, boomer. And then the extreme left evil people in the commie capitalists, you can buy OK Boomer t-shirts at malls, I think. Or at least you could a few years ago. And that's because the boomers are too conservative for the young liberal suckers and too normie for the right-wingers. Too liberal for the right-wingers. And they wasted away our wealth and stuff like that. But somebody raised them. Somebody raised them to be all messed up. So is it going to never end, the blame? Hake's shirt should say, I love mama. Indeed. Is your mama a boomer? You have to love everybody. Nobody goes to malls anymore, Hake. Oh my goodness. It's terrible. I told you this story that I heard from Big Bump about, he told me about this my childhood mall that I used to go to. My childhood mall. Santa Anita Mall, up in Arcadia, California. Just white area. It's now Asian, but Asians and whites, very quiet, very law-abiding. And there sometimes are, Hispanics, but they're the nice kind of Hispanics, like the family type of Hispanics. Yeah, there's some cholo-looking people there sometimes, but it's nice. And there was a smash and grab there. They thought that there were shots fired. They thought there was a mass shooting, but it was a smash and grab. They smashed the glass, and it was such a loud smash that I had friends and people over there who panicked, ran away. Not panicked, but there were people panicking, but ran and hid because they thought it was an active shooter. But no, it was a smash and grab. Somebody smashed some glass cases and grabbed some stuff and stole. That's not white or Asian crime usually, right? Maybe sometimes. That's like black crime or organized crime or both. Maybe the Hispanics do that too. In beautiful Arcadia, California, right by the Santa Anita racetrack. Nice area too. What a shame. I used to get my orange Julius's or orange bangs. Orange Bang is, oh my gosh. So it's terrible what's happened to the country. But that's just the way of the world. That's my favorite mall. What the? Joel Friday says. Yeah, exactly. So everything's going to HE double toothpicks. But you can have perfect peace within, right? Hopefully. So let me tell you about this Caitlin Clark, black on white crime. Let's not do Kelce. I didn't get into this, but they were talking about this woman, this basketball star, WNBA star. Have you watched any of her, Hassan? Have not, huh?
I have not.
You just play basketball. You don't watch it, or you watch the men play because they're a bit more athletic.
I don't even watch the men anymore since they've been sold out to China.
Oh, really? China did it for you, not Black Lives Matter and all that other stuff.
Well, it feels like it all came together all at the same time.
Yeah, true. Interesting. Yeah, so the NBA, yeah, I've hated the NBA ever since what they did to the Clippers owner. Donald Sterling. My favorite. He is in my top 20 favorite Jews, Donald Sterling. Because he told that V. Stiviano gal, this woman who is his assistant or something, or I don't know what she was. Not his wife. I don't know what she was. He told her not to hang out with black guys, including Magic Johnson or whoever. And so she secretly recorded him, which is illegal in the state of California, I will have you know. And then she leaked it to far-left extremist, anti-white, in this case, anti-Jewish, because he's Jewish, but he's also white, TMZ. Not morally straight outlet, sleazy outlet. And evil Adam Silver. That skinny, bald-headed guy who's like the commissioner of the NBA. He's like, well, we agreed to take his team away. So they took his team away from him against his will because it sounded racist. Even Magic Johnson threw him under the bus, kind of. Terrible. Come on, Magic, well, he doesn't know better, apparently. So ever since then, and evil, who's the Dallas Mavericks owner, Shark Tank? He's kind of a lame-o now. Mark Cuban. Mark Cuban knew it was wrong to take his team from him. Also not a Christian, I don't think. Kind of a Trump derangement syndrome sufferer. But he knew that it was wrong to take the guy's team away. He knew he had reservations about it, but they took the team away from him. Supposedly they compensated him, I guess, because, you can't just He bought it, and then they took it from him because of kissing up to blacks. So evil. So ridiculous. And then not long after that, the Black Lives Matter mess was allowed. These evil I Can't Breathe t-shirts and Black Lives Matter t-shirts and these NBA stars like Dwayne Wade. I used to hear good things about Dwayne Wade. And, you know, that other guy who's supposedly talented tennis player, LeBron James. These talented guys and others saying Black Lives Matter at the ESPYs Awards. The ESPYs Awards. I'd never even heard of the ESPYs Awards until the guy who, the father-in-law of Kanye, the ex-father-in-law of Kanye, came out and got his Arthur Ashe Courage Award for turning transgender. Poor Bruce Jenner. So yeah, NBA's been evil for a long time. And then they also started the WNBA just as affirmative action for women. And they've been talking about, oh, WNBA stars. There is no WNBA stars, except now there is one. Caitlin Clark. Who's at least... Hey, Caitlin Clark is a dude. Why can't Hake see that? A dudette? He's a dudette. I almost said he's a dudette. She's a dudette. Super Dave. She's not... They're claiming pretty privilege. She's not even that pretty. She's as pretty as... maybe a little bit more, because she knows she's at least feminine. But she's as pretty as that other NBA star whom we only know about because she went to Russia loaded up with drugs. You know, that gal, Brittany Griner. Brittany Griner, look at her face. You know, if she didn't give in to the lesbian mess, she would be, you know, like a mildly attractive young lady. And she really is kind of a mildly attractive young lady. But anyway, she's supposedly an NBA star, but WNBA star. Caitlin Clark divided the internet with her getting fouled, a flagrant foul, because some light-skinned or dark-skinned white or light-skinned black young woman went up and shoulder-checked her to the floor. Terrible. You guys see that? We saw it on the Jesse Lee Peterson show a few days ago, I want to say. Was it couple of days ago? I think it was Monday, huh? I don't know when it was. But there was some former NBA stars talking about it, some football players talking about it. And I saw people who've several blacks talking about it, black so-called conservatives, calling out the whites for getting all, this is racism against the whites. Racism against the whites. Because she's been the center of a ton of hostility, according to SI.com, Far Left Extremist Sports Illustrated, per Farbad and Esna Shari, June 1st. She dealt with a very rough foul, according to this article from Sports Illustrated. I'll share the link with you in the chat, in the live chat on YouTube at least. What's up, Jabrail? Nice to see you. The center of a ton of hostility. With that hostility keeps coming a major debate on whether it's warranted or if it's all part of the game. The most recent act was when Kennedy Carter of Chicago Sky, what a dumb name for a sports team. Is it a sport? I guess it's a sport. Women's sports, are they sports? Pushed Caitlin Clark down to the ground, an act that's already started a debate. Isn't it interesting how when there is a crazy act of violence or aggression or expression of anger or evil, that it divides people? People get all involved. Have you noticed that? I've noticed that. October 7th, that attack, and October 7th, the attack on Israel by the Hamas people, according to the reports, right? And then Hamas reportedly has gone back hard against Gaza. Too rough, unnecessary roughness, foul, war crimes, cider, genocide, you know, cleansing, ethnic cleansing. ICC needs to get involved. And I don't even believe in the ICC. The ICC is evil. So what is it? Evil against evil? I don't know. But everybody's like, uninvolved parties are getting all involved emotionally in it, losing friends, killing sometimes, protesting, disrupting each other's livelihoods, interrupting so-called pride parades. Nice. Devils fighting. What a mess, huh? Anytime somebody does something that kind of exposes, oh no, we're not going to play nice anymore. Oh, we're not nice anymore. You know how Jake Julius in one of the clips on the Jesse Lee Peterson show with the experts today in the second hour, beginning of the second hour, I guess, he said he met a lot of nice gills. Well, when something radical happens, something that exposes people happens, that niceness, the mask comes off. Because you can play nice with people, like Joe in Phoenix always wants to play nice with me. And then there's a disagreement. If it touches a nerve, with his nerve or my nerve, like the ego, the mask comes off, and it's the demons come out. Crazy, huh? Pretty crazy. So people are not exactly honest, in my opinion, on this issue, because a lot of people have an agenda. But there's this one former Clippers star, Lou Williams, if there is such a thing as a Clippers star. Was Jason Lynn in the Clippers? Jeremy Lin? Whatever that guy's name is. No, he was not. He was Lakers? Yeah, I don't think so. Okay. But anyway, Lou Williams, if you've ever heard of him, he's supposedly a Clippers star. Oh, Jeremy Lin was at the Knicks? The Asian star. Lou has 2 wives? Lou Williams has 2 wives? What is he, Mormon or Muslim? Okay, so he went on Twitter to give his opinion on the play, suggesting that Caitlin Clark may have been talking trash to warrant the cheap shot against her, pushing her to the floor. Come on, man, Williams said. You know rooks can't chirp like that. Girls chirping all the time. You see girls chirping all the time and they don't get this. And so she's a rookie, and so chirping, I learned from American Anchor Baby, means trash talk. You got nothing. And if you're a rookie and you start saying you got nothing, then they're gonna check you hard, according to Lou Williams. Like he knows WNBA. You only know NBA, Lou Williams. With your 2 wives. Allegedly, according to Hassan. Former NFL quarterback Robert Griffin III had a much different perspective on that foul. Robert Griffin III, and this is a football player, not a basketball player. And I was thinking, Griffin, wasn't there like a Robert or something who was Robert Blake? Yeah, he's like Blake
Griffin.
Blake Griffin, yeah. That guy used to be in the NBA. I guess he's not, because I haven't really seen his face lately.
He still is.
Oh, he still is. But he's like a light-skinned black or black-skinned white, dark-skinned white. And he's a talented basketball player, I guess. But that's not this one. This is Robert Griffin the third. No relation, probably, to Blake that we know of. Maybe they had a common slave master. Anyway, listen to this. Griffin had previously mentioned that Caitlin Clark was dealing with hard fouls as part of the respect and embrace of coming into the WNBA, but this particular foul was a different case, okay? Okay, so you get hazed. Welcome to the WNBA. These women acting all butch. Shout out to the butch ladies. I disavow it, but shout out. You don't know any better. Kind of like Trump shouted out the LGBTs for Trump. He might disavow it, I don't know. Maybe he doesn't. But it's not like he's supporting them being like that necessarily. Anyway, okay, this is hating on Caitlin Clark, says Robert Griffin III. Face guarding, I don't know what face guarding is. Extremely aggressive play and the occasional hard foul can be described as competitiveness, going out of your way to call her out of her name. Call her out of her name is black for name calling. To name call her names. Outside of her name. That's why they call it that. I've never heard of it before until working for the Jesse Lee Peterson show and hearing blacks talk about that. And body checker to the floor without the ball, by the way, is hating, all caps. I'm with you, Robert Griffin III. It's hate. And I don't know if it's this racism stuff. That might add to the aggression. There's definitely a hatred of her for being white. I mean, because she's white and, just a sweet gal. Nice gal. Until she finally decides to open her mouth. And by the way, she's morally straight, somewhat, I guess. Game after game, Robert Gliff. Oh, okay. Listen to this. They did bring up Blake Griffin to add to the Hake's confusion. The way WNBA players are targeting Caitlin Clark is very similar to what Blake Griffin, the white one, the light-skinned guy who just looks weird to me, but he's talented. He's mixed. Dealt with in the Clippers. Game after game, older players were tackling Blake Griffin or making sure to knock him onto the ground. It took some time, but those dirty fouls ultimately ended, and they should for Clark too. So says this person, Farbad Esnashari. But there is that pull for the whites to go team white about her, and definitely if you see it with the blacks going team black and the anti-whites going team anti-white and denying and acting like they know, the View people talking about it. Give me a break. Hake pushing for hate fouls but don't believe in hate crimes. This was definitely a black on white crime. Hake, just end the sports talk. You're hurting our ears. Yeah, there is one line open. You can call in 1-888-775-3773. Misfit Nation says, honestly, I was going to cover it, but I watched the vids and I don't see a story here. It's a sport. It gets rough and aggressive at times. The best player getting targeted is part of the game. So he says. Maybe so, yeah. We definitely have seen a whole lot of chatter out of the overflow of the evil hearts. The mouth has spoken. And the reaction to it is kind of interesting. And it was a nasty check. And these ladies look all butch. Not in a good way. And this Chardonnay, whatever her name is, Shenedy woman, she would be like a mildly attractive gal, but she's acting all harsh. We are on team Mrs. Caitlin Clark -Hake. No, that's more like a niece. That's not a wife. That's like a niece. According to one female coach, and can you trust a woman's word? They've been complaining and sending footage about her getting roughhoused. I don't know. I know that there's another star player, Angel Reese. She's pretty good, supposedly. And she's like, women's basketball is also popular not just because of one person, it's because of me too. The egos. The evil egos. All just jealousy, Tabitha says. Yeah, jealousy, envy, pride, evil, anger, speculation, trying to read people's minds. You don't want to fall into the devil's fighting. And watch out, white girls. There is the black gals have higher testosterone and more aggression, and they're used to fighting, and they'll fight you, and they'll be evil to you. Thank you, Rika, for pointing that out. Yeah. And whites in general. There's definitely an attack on the whites. And this is kind of exposing it. Whether that incident itself was or not, I have no idea. Don't care. But it wasn't very ladylike what they did to her. But then again, women's basketball isn't necessarily very ladylike. Come on, can't you just be dainty and pretty? They are supposedly becoming more pretty. They're becoming prettier. They're getting their act together because it's not making money with them being all dykey. I don't know if that's an okay to... Hake is literally simping for Caitlyn. No, I'm not. Women do treat each other terribly. Stay strapped. No, you don't want to be you don't want to be caught and be strapped, because if you're strapped and caught, then you have to, let's say you have to use your strap, and you don't have the law on your side in using your strap. Or you certainly don't have the court of public opinion on your side. The liberals are running the stuff, and the liberals don't have good judgment, and they will not judge you fairly. So it's best to stay clear, not stay strapped. You can be strapped or not, but it's best to stay clear. Stay on the other side of the road, far away from potential risks. It's risk assessment. You have to use it is a bad thing? Yes, it is a bad thing if you have to use it. Stay clear so you don't get into that situation. Stay alert. Your awareness is your number one life-saving thing. It's life itself, I think. You're caught unawares, but you're strapped. What's good about that? Strapped. Anyway, Misfit Nation didn't see a story here, but I saw it a little bit. Anyway, the lines are full, guys. Let me get to some calls here. Aaron is a first-time caller in Ontario. Canada or Ontario, California? Aaron. Canada. Good to hear from you, man. What's up?
What up, Hake?
Not much. How about you?
I'm just about to get a haircut here. You had a caller earlier talking about, I think it was Tom from PA.
Okay.
He was talking about going
Oh
out
yeah,
on
the
last hour.
Last hour JLP when I guest hosted today.
That's right. I just wanted to bring up a point about, and then you had another caller after talking about how the liberals, how they're really good at speaking and bringing their point across.
Yeah, that was an interesting call.
Conservatives have a hard time, right? That was a good call.
Yeah.
I think that there's a big problem with a lot of the kids today, especially with mental illness.
Okay.
They have all these ideas in their head. Young people have all these ideas, and their idea of self-worth is diminished because they are not good at speaking.
Oh, okay.
Their speaking skills are bad.
Right.
So when they articulate what they feel or what ideas they have in their head, they're not able to, and that's what I see a lot on JLP, is when people bring their point across and he asks them a simple question, they're not able to answer it.
Right. True. Because they don't actually, I think it's because they don't really know what they're talking about.
That's right, because they don't know how to speak, right?
It's not just not knowing how to speak, because I think they truly don't know what they think that they know.
Right.
But knowing how to speak is part of that, is knowing what you know and knowing what you don't know, I think.
Yeah, and then you got, a lot of people want to go out and preach and stuff like that. But I want to bring up the spiritual battle in all of us.
Okay, yeah.
And how public speaking in general raises your own self-worth, so you're able to be aware of what's going on in a new way.
Okay.
So when you're able to bring a point across and articulate it properly,
Yeah.
you have a calmness about you. You know what you're talking about, and then you're able to also receive other. Listen, is the key. You're able to listen to other people as well as articulate, and that's where good conversations come up.
You know, that's what I've noticed about JLP, and I've noticed that about Trump, our greatest president, is that they are both really good at listening.
Yeah.
They listen closely. People say, oh, Trump is prideful, arrogant, he doesn't listen. Yes, he does listen, and he is actually humble.
But when they say that about him, they're, everyone sees in other people what's in them.
Yeah.
And
True.
they want to throw poop on other people
yeah.
because it's easy, right?
So true.
And they just can't sit back and watch what's going on.
Yeah.
And judge for themselves, right? They want to feel right. They can't articulate it though.
So true. You said that public speaking raises your self-worth?
Being able to articulate, being able to speak, me having a speech impediment since I was very young, always caused me to avoid certain situations. It caused me to avoid the jobs I wanted to go into. And when I took it upon myself to practice speaking, for a lot of people, I think it would work too. You don't have to speak about a particular subject, but when you speak and you're able to articulate and you practice it, you do your self-worth in your own mind, not as a pride thing, but as a self-esteem thing maybe, goes up.
Interesting.
Does that make sense, Hake?
Yeah, I mean, you definitely want confidence, and you gain some confidence, if you'll allow me to use that word, by doing. You learn by doing, you get better at doing, you get more confident in what you're doing by doing.
Yeah, and then also, too, when you're not able to not necessarily public speak, but everything we just talked about, you kind of confine yourself to people who will listen to you only, and then you identify with those people.
Yeah, interesting.
Right?
Yeah.
But when you're able to publicly speak, you meet new people, you listen, like we were just talking about, you're able to have a different listening, a whole new world opens up. And that's where networking comes from.
You know, they talk about, when I was a kid, going to like Sunday school and stuff like that, they would talk about comfort zones. And I had friends who talked about comfort zones like it was a good thing, like you should stay in your comfort zone. But that's basically just catering to fear.
And you're catering, and then you identify with certain, and then that becomes you when you identify with something. Maybe it's a certain group of people,
right?
Maybe a certain sport or a certain hobby. You identify with those people, and and then you're not able to broaden your, it's just a limiting factor, and a lot of people's self-worth diminishes when they come across people with, another opinion. You shouldn't be scared if you know how to articulate what you're talking about and listen, like you said. And
be fine with not knowing, be fine with looking stupid, or be fine with whatever may come. It's not like you should go out and purposely challenge yourself like a weird psycho person.
That's right.
It's just just take the opportunities and not shrink from opportunities before you.
Yeah, you just grow. You're able to grow.
Yeah.
Right?
Right. Nice.
And I don't believe, and that's what we want to do. We want to grow with God. He wants us to live and not take stuff so serious. Life is sometimes serious, but when we're able to articulate, we listen, we grow, and a lot of people are missing that, and they identify with certain things that aren't them.
Right. What can I ask what your speech impediment is? Because I don't hear it.
It's a stutter.
Oh, okay. I stutter sometimes, but I don't know if it was ever diagnosed as a speech impediment. And I definitely don't stutter to where I knew a guy who stuttered a lot. Like he would just.
I used to.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was bad. It was bad before. I remember you were saying on your show about when you were a kid, and thought you were speaking up. They told you to speak up.
Yeah, I was like, it sounds loud in my head.
Because the thoughts are loud, right?
Interesting. I just hear it loud inside of my head, but literally in my head, from like I'm talking, I hear it, and I'm using my normal voice. I'm not like talking high pitched or anything, but it was coming out quiet. And I noticed that when I'm speaking into the mic, and you have to practically yell in order to come off as having any energy at all.
Okay, totally. Yeah, I don't know how that feels, but
it's interesting. I mean, you also want to be energetic and somewhat entertaining.
Totally. Yeah, no, I love the show, Hake. I just want to give you a quick call, and just something I noticed. A lot of people have a hard time. The people who have a hard time, I don't want to say public speaking because that may seem like you're out and like doing a speech or something, but able to speak in public shows people respect that genuinely without. It's natural to respect that, and it's because it's perceived subliminally as that person is, like you said, not in a confident, like prideful way, but you respect that person because they're able to. You can see that they're present. Yeah,
there's a lot of people who get shy, like they feel like they're going to be exposed. They feel like they're going to look stupid, and you can see the reaction, the physical reaction of them to the inner turmoil about it. And it's sort of like a lot of guys talking with women, approaching women and stuff like that, because the woman is too important to them, and the people are too important to them. Yeah, and so they're scared and worshiping of women and hating women, really. And
they're also trying to dance around and make it, not say the wrong thing, right? Which is a terrible thing.
Yeah. What a mess. It kind of exposes you, the fears and the spiritual
stuff. The fear of being exposed is what I'm talking about, right? Like, why would you don't want to be exposed if you don't want to grow.
Yep.
And if you're afraid of being exposed, maybe there's something wrong.
Right.
Right? Maybe you should listen a bit more or practice whatever we're just talking about.
Yep.
Why are you scared of being exposed if...
I think what it is, there's a pride, wanting to just be jump over to being perfect, rather than go through the imperfect and go through the wanting to have the perfect peace without going through the hell.
Totally.
Go through the hell. It's fine, and you'll be okay.
Awesome, man.
Nice.
Awesome call, dude.
Yeah, appreciate you, man. Call me again sometime, Aaron.
Have a great day, Hake.
You as well. Bye. Chuck in New Jersey is on the line here. Chuck, how you doing?
All right, James. How you been?
I've been fine. How about you?
I've been doing pretty good, fighting the battle with health issues. But other than that, because I'm old, I'm still doing okay. But I'll hang in there.
Right on, man.
Yeah. Hey, what I called you about was I didn't originally want to talk to you about this, but you brought up this issue of Caitlin Clark.
Yeah, the WNBA, the one true star of the WNBA.
Well, what I will say about this is I'm glad that she's in the game.
Nice.
And for one reason, if you asked me about a while back, am I white or black, and I'm black.
Right.
But the reason that I appreciate the fact that she's in the game is because, for one, the women's NBA has not been doing the greatest financially of late.
Of course not. Never has, right?
Right. She brought in, with her in the game, the folks that are behind her saw an opportunity to bring more revenue to the game, which is good for everybody involved, black, white, Hispanic, whoever.
Yeah.
Yeah. The other thing, this is nothing more than what you're seeing in the media right now, and I'm kind of disappointed at the media, but I understand why they do it. Using race as an incentive to try and build, the revenue base in the game is nothing new.
Oh, yeah.
It's been done for
controversy.
Years.
Yeah.
It's been done for over 100 years. I cautioned Jesse one day about calling Donald Trump the Great White Hope.
Okay.
Because there's a history behind that. If people knew about it, they might think twice about it. But that's whatever hyperbole anybody wants to use regarding him and his name and name call him, stuff like that is fine with me. If you remember that game, that boxing match, which took place over 100 years ago in 1910, July the 4th to be exact, was promoted based on a racist issue. They called Gentleman Jim Jeffries the Great White Hope. And as the fight proceeded, the fight was scheduled for over 40 rounds, I think it was.
Wow.
They had 40. It was 2-minute rounds that they used to fight back then. They used lighter gloves than they're using today. And over 60,000 people attended this fight in Reno, Nevada in the heat of day. In fact, Jim Jeffries was brought out of retirement. He retired with an unblemished record. And he was brought out of retirement to defeat Jack Johnson, who was the black. At the time, those divisions, the heavyweight division was separated in two classes, black champions and white champions.
Okay.
And he had beaten the Canadian white champion at the time, my memory serves me correctly, the Canadian Australian. And they wanted to unify the title. So once again, the news media decided, how can we really build interest in this fight?
Uh-huh.
It was easy then because the racism was the order of the day, so they used the racist card to build this fight, calling him the Great White Hope. And
Okay.
they used all the racist tropes to build him up, and then after he got his butt beat, so he not only did he get beat, but his corner threw in the towel. Subsequent to what happened, the fight was not, well, it was not televised, but they were given round by round descriptions of what went on live.
Okay.
In theaters and whatnot. And the movie that was made afterwards, they were actually filming it at the time. This movie's available. You can watch it if you look at some of these old ephemeral films that came out that are out on YouTube. They're part of the public domain now. And you can see what happened. He was knocked down for the first time in his career.
Okay.
And after the fight, when they showed the actual fight in theaters across the country, I think Teddy Roosevelt was president at the time.
The good Roosevelt.
He went to Congress and asked Congress for an emergency order to stop this fight being shown in theaters across the country because riots broke out as a result of it.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, this is all his history. But
yeah.
My point being is that, like I said, history has been repeating itself. And this is look at the OJ case. It was the Jesse Lee Peterson show when he interviewed Judge Brown that at least gave us some insight into the fact that case, black man versus a white woman, killed a white woman, that there was an issue of, obviously there's an issue of race in it, but they used it to blow this case up to the point where people were watching it every day as it appeared on TV.
When with O.J. Simpson, the blacks seemed to treat it more of a race issue than the whites.
Well, they understand something, James, that this case, did you know that 2 police officers went to jail behind this?
I didn't know that.
Yeah, well, I encourage you to go back and look at the interview. I didn't know it. I knew about it, but I was reminded when James interviewed Judge
JLP
Joe Brown.
Jesse.
Yeah, JLP.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, when they interviewed him, and he went into detail about it, and in fact, he was the one that said he went back and he read all the court papers that led up to this, and even he was astounded when he found out what took place. I mean, there was a lot of stuff that was kept from the public. The thing that was emphasized was the race card, and yeah, I don't care if you're black, you're white, or whatever. People, regardless of race, identified with whites, identified with whites, black identified.
I don't think so, man.
Nobody.
I don't think so. In terms
Well,
of
let
the
me-
O.J. Simpson, I think the blacks were way, way, way more interested in this because he was black than the
Yeah,
whites
that's what I
were
just
because he was
said.
black.
I, what I,
The whites weren't interested in it like that. Normal whites weren't anyway. Maybe the radical whites, like my caller Mark, he might have known something about it or been thinking about it in those terms, like a black on white crime.
That's kind of immaterial. Well, let me preface. Let me qualify my remark. The thing that I'm saying is that once again the media used the race as a factor to build interest in watching this crazy.
Yeah, but the media couldn't
happen.
do that if it weren't human nature to be interested in mess.
You're echoing exactly what I'm saying.
Yeah,
because race has always played a factor in a lot of these things, and it's time that we wake up and stop letting race do this, especially in something like this with OJ, with of course, 1910. The attitude of the country at that time. There were race laws and stuff like that in place then.
That was them trying to deal with the situation. I don't know that they were any worse than we are today, really.
In many respects, we're worse today because we know better.
I don't know, man.
Know better.
I don't think that we do know better. I think that I think it's two different cultures, and our culture is far inferior in a whole lot of ways to their culture back then. And I don't know that we're superior in any way to their culture back then.
I'm not saying that we're superior. I'm saying that we know better, but we don't care.
That's what I mean. Knowing better.
We have at our disposal, like this phone. I can call you up anytime. I may not always get through, but we have a means of having up to the minute, up to the second information.
But that's not knowing better. That's just knowing a whole bunch of crap that we don't need to know. Information.
But what I'm telling you is we have the ability to have this information given to us immediately if we want to in real time. We don't have to wait days, weeks, and months to get this information. We have it available to us right now. But
I don't know what your point is with that. That has nothing to do with what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the values of the racial segregation issue and the race issue back in the 1910s, let's say, versus the race issue today. People are more insane about race today, perhaps. I think those were saner times. Maybe not, but I think that they were saner times with regard to race back then.
Well, I don't know that it was. I didn't live back then.
Right.
Neither did you. We can only speculate on that based on what we see, what we read, and what we've heard.
Yeah.
And that's all we can base that on. I will say this much: that with regard to sports, there's nothing new under the sun, and you'll see that in the Bible. There's nothing new under the sun, whether it's sports, human nature, or whatever. There's never been nothing new under the sun. And this case here, I mean, look at this fight that's coming up between Jake Paul and what's his name, Mike Tyson.
The white man's going to win. Jake Paul is going to win. He's going to win in White History Month.
My opinion is that Jake Paul doesn't beat him, then there's something wrong with the game.
Yeah.
Jake Paul has got 30 years, and Mike Tyson's got 30 years on Jake Paul.
Right.
30 years. Mike Tyson hasn't been in the ring forever. The last time he was in the ring with Roy Jones Jr. And was that 4 years ago?
30 years, exactly. Yeah. Jake Paul, 27 years old. Mike Tyson, 57 years old. And, yeah, Jake Paul, you better win. And don't hurt him too bad, Jake Paul. He's too precious. Isn't Mike Tyson precious nowadays? Mike Tyson, calm yourself. throw the match for everybody's sake. Because I really like Mike Tyson. But
I like him too. But
he's not going to win.
I don't think he's going to win. And secondly, Mike's too doggone old.
Yeah, that's my point. That's my only point.
Time has taken its toll.
Yeah.
Time takes its toll. Trust me, I know. Time takes its toll.
Indeed.
And in this case here, I think that one thing that I can say with regard to all this is that there hasn't been so much of a race issue in this one. This is just old versus young.
Right.
The fact that Mike Tyson's black, I think, is kind of immaterial.
Well, for me, I'm excited about. Isn't the fight going to take place during White History Month?
It'll take place in July. I guess is that White History Month? That's
yeah, July is White History Month, man.
Yeah.
So is it going to happen in July? Let's see, July 20th, 2024. Oh, they canceled it according to Hassan. Did they really?
They canceled it?
Really?
Oh,
was scheduled to take place May 31st. May 31st, new date to be set. Okay, new date to be set. So it is canceled for White History Month. Thank God. Mike has medical issues. Mike has medical issues? Mike, just don't do it. It's okay. We love you. I totally like Mike Tyson. I've always kind of liked him. Although I did want Evander Holyfield, the Christian, to beat him back in 1995 or 4, whenever that happened.
When he bit a zero.
Yeah, I was on Team Christian because I was like, hey, let's get a Christian to win. Then the more people will become Christians or something dumb like that. Anyway,
I think Mike was a jailhouse Muslim at that point.
Yeah, I mean they stole his years with that phony railroading rape conviction. I don't buy that rape conviction. Do you?
No, I never bought it, but then again, it was Mike Tyson. So why use that as a means of emphasizing something to win viewers and all that kind of crap? Like I said, the news media hasn't always been kind to anybody.
Of course.
And
no, they're hate-filled. They're certainly not Christian in their ways. Anyway, I got to run, man.
Okay, but then, just one final word before you go. Just remember one thing, that everything that comes out in the media is not always the truth. In fact, a lot of times the truth is coated with a bit of devilment.
Oh, yeah.
Devilishness. And in this case here with Caitlin Clark, I think that they're using an old means of building viewership when they could do it another way, but they go to the lowest common denominator, which is always the race issue, to build an audience of haters to come along and cheer her on, or jeer at her because of her race and not because of her skills. The girl is talented.
Nice.
I don't care what anybody says. Caitlin Clark had taken the time and the energy to especially learn that 3-point shot. That girl worked hard for it. Stayed in the gym every day to learn how to do it.
That's true. And she just does it just so easy. I'm like, how do you do that so easy? How tall is that woman?
But there's no I in team, so she's on a team now.
But there is in win. She's 6 foot tall. That's too tall for me. But anyway, I was not even interested in her like that. I'm not. I'm just telling you, she's more like a niece.
All right, check yourself now. Check yourself. Right. You might be.
I got to go, Chuck in New Jersey. Good to hear from you, man.
All right, you take care.
All right, bye.
All right, see you.
Wow, what a mess. Tyson is one of the coolest, nicest men on the planet, says Golden Rule TV. And he's one of those black Muslims. All right, Joe in Phoenix, Arizona has been on hold for quite some time. Joe in Phoenix, how you doing?
Good morning, James.
Hey, good morning.
All righty. Sorry about that. I'm out here in the fields again. These coyotes are out of control this year. My goodness.
Nice. Is it climate change? Is that climate change?
No, the Fish and Game just said there was a big litter this year for most coyotes because it's been, we had a lot of rain, there's a lot of fruit, and they've been reproducing a lot. That's all.
Right on.
All right, so today I'm going to be nice to you, and oh my God, I can't believe I'm going to say this. I'm going to admit that you were right about something.
What did I say? Okay, let's hear it.
So,
This is going to be like I wonder if it's, go ahead.
No, it's not a snake move. I'm really going to admit that you were right about something.
I'm getting the snake out regardless because it's fun.
Okay. Yesterday, I don't know what it is about this caller. I think it's that he's just so young, that Haden in Texas.
Yeah, Haden.
But he was referencing me and some other callers talking about 2045.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you caught it because you were kind of talking over him at the time, but he said, oh, so 2045 is when whites are going to be exterminated.
I did not catch that. Good point.
Yeah.
Yeah. There'll be a minority.
I like to tease you and troll you a little bit by saying, oh, James, you feel like you're under attack. And you usually say, no, Joe, I don't feel that way, but some whites do.
No, I'm saying the whites in general are. Just the whites are. And me personally, maybe with an interaction, somebody may, with their anti-white brainwashing, talk to me in a crazy way that's not sane. But no, I don't. Anyway, I've talked. But yes, go ahead with your point.
Okay, so just hearing the passion in his voice when he said exterminated, I mean, it's clear to me that you were right about that. Some white folks do feel like they're under attack and they're going to be exterminated. So Haden, let me be very clear about this. All 2045 means is that, according to the U.S. Census, William, and their projections, that's where the number comes from. White people will no longer be more than 51% of the population. All it means. They will still be the biggest group of people in America. They're projected to be about 48%, 49%. They just won't be more than 51%. That's all it means. No one's trying to exterminate white people.
Wait. You say no one's trying to exterminate white people. How do you know that? Who are you to say nobody's trying to do that? They say that Hitler was trying to exterminate the Jews.
Yeah. That's a historical Nazi thing and a present-day dream of neo-Nazis.
So there's certainly people out there, like there's that one guy who said, every iota of a cracker, I hate him. I don't know if that guy was trying to exterminate them. Who?
Was that Farrakhan who said that?
Maybe. I don't know. It was some guy. But there are definitely people who hate white people and
well, sure.
And would love that.
Idiots and cult members like Farrakhan who wants to, he'd be very happy if all white folks left tomorrow. But he's a crazy, insane person. No sane, decent, moral person wants to see an extermination of an entire group of people.
Yeah, but there's a whole lot of anti-white attacks coming from the very top. You mentioned the FBI. You mentioned the rhinos and liberals in the with the HR 350 and you mentioned I've mentioned Merrick Garland and Obama's people, his DOJ heads.
I'm trying to agree with you. You're still trying to provoke me, James.
Well, I'm not trying to provoke you. I'm just saying that there is this whole establishment. Well, look at the guy whom you justified the ousting of. Iowa, Congressman Steve King. This is a normal, conservative, Christian Catholic, but Christian man, and he doesn't even strike me as into the whiteness thing at all, but he's for, Western civilization. He does know that demographics is destiny. He was for English only in Iowa, and he wanted to build a wall. Long before even Trump came along, he was talking about building a wall, and he had even had a design laid out. Khalid Abdul Muhammad says Big Bump is the one who said every iota of a cracker, I guess. But Congressman Steve King there was a hit. Yes, okay, so there was this hit piece from the New York Times against Congressman King. And there's just been this long speculation from the mainstream media about the Tea Party being racist, about Congressman Steve King being racist. There is this whole racism fear-mongering from the mainstream media and from the phony politicians who kiss up to this media and academia. And it's quite clear, it's quite obvious, and it's pretty evil. And they're going after some of the best people. Sheriff Joe Arpaio. They tried to call him a racist. And he's like his normal Italian, older than a boomer man who was just trying to secure the border and be humane about it, or not secure the border, but enforce the law in Maricopa County.
I've seen that, Sheriff Joe. I did not get a racist vibe from him.
Yeah. And they're trying to call him racist and say that he was racially profiling and made him a felon out of it, I think, or something. Something like that.
Well, anyway, James, this is exactly why I bring up genetic editing.
But
for
that's
this reason, because you're again, I have to say it, even though I'm choking on the words, you're right. There are many white folks who feel under attack.
And are they justified in that feeling of being under attack? Because I don't like the term "feel under attack." That sounds sort of condescending, but a lot of people, but it is a valid point. People do feel under attack, whether or not they really are under attack, because a lot of blacks feel like there's racism when it's an illusion. So, do you see that there is an attack on the whites? Because I'm just saying, I say stuff. I'm not convincing people.
I don't agree with. Yeah.
Go ahead.
But the things that you say I don't necessarily agree with, but I think that they feel under attack, absolutely. And the same way Farrakhan and his idiots feel under attack, too. It's the same thing. That's why, that Muhammad guy, whatever you just said, can drift off of his followers by saying, oh, the white folks want to kill you. They're trying to commit genocide on black people, and he's wrong and an idiot, and anyone saying it against white people is wrong and an idiot also.
Anyone saying that white people are under attack and they're trying to genocide white people? Oh.
No, I'm saying anyone trying to, attack
the whites
people based on their skin color alone is just an idiot.
Well, is it not the case that Derek Chauvin, people were speculating that he's racist just because he had the knee on the neck of a black man and just because he was white?
Sure.
Yeah.
We can agree on that.
And that's common. The media does that a lot. And they bring up the fact that it was a white man on a black person. It's just like my previous caller hyping the race issue to divide and cause the people to fight over something that wasn't even, there's no evidence of it being a race issue at all, but they want to hype it, and the blacks will believe it because the blacks are so in their imaginations, like what you just said about how the whites are in their imaginations, which some are.
We're getting along too well today.
So then you are admitting that the media does attack whites with this this propaganda warfare against whites, speculating about white racism. You'll notice
we can agree that happens. I think it happens to a whole lot of folks, to tell you the truth.
But it happens to whites the most with this whole racism thing.
I don't know about that.
You really don't? Okay. We'll just have to whatever.
Agree, disagree. So, but my point
agree that you're blind.
My point about genetic editing with Haden, you don't have to worry. Whiteness, or what you believe is whiteness, pale skin, straight hair, blue eyes, it's protected now forever. It's never going away.
Because of genetic editing, but that's
exactly. I mean,
I think that's a silly. I really don't see I don't see any depth to that point. That's just a silly thing.
Reality,
I don't see it as reality. It's pretending that. Okay, so white people have a lot of whites, normal whites, let's say, have a culture of fairness, justice, freedom of speech, Second Amendment, law and order, be polite, pick up your trash, be honest, be fair with everybody. And that most often comes up in being a Republican, more often than not. Sometimes they're more libertarian or independent or right-wing. Some of the white nationalists are like that. And then some of even the Democrat whites are sort of fair-minded in that. So white people, though, the concern about white people is the white culture, the white civilization is going away.
All those things you just mentioned are not exclusive to white people.
No, they're not, but they're most common among the white people than the other races because the other races are encouraged and enabled to be dependent on the government and blame and play victim and be a mess.
Well, we can agree to some degree that, I mean, again, the root of all this, especially in the poor black culture, is the matriarchy. We talked about that before. That has to be defeated and overcome.
Yeah.
But, on a DNA level, there's no such thing as race anyway. The science is very clear on that. But that's okay. We don't have to agree on that.
Yeah.
But the blue eye thing, I've heard Jesse say that, he's seeing more blue in his eyes as he gets older.
Uh-huh.
And that's his white side coming out. He likes to joke. But, I hope you know that everybody on the planet has blue eyes, James.
Oh, really?
Every single person, yes. The only reason why you see brown eyes or green eyes or amber eyes is because of a certain level of melanin. That's all it is. But if you get underneath that melanin, you will see blue eyes. And
Interesting.
sometimes as you age, the melanin fades and you see the blue underneath, what Jesse is going through right now.
Interesting.
Actually, as you know, I watch this sector very closely for investing. Sorry, I'm out of breath. I'm working with the fence here. There's a company called Stroma, Stroma, that has developed a laser to remove the top layer of melanin in the iris to reveal the blue underneath of everybody, and they're starting to sell that.
That sounds dangerous.
Yeah, it's not approved in the U.S. yet.
That's so
I wouldn't
vain.
do it.
All that stuff is just vain. You know what I mean? Anyway, I got to run. It's nice talking with you, I guess.
All right. Yeah. All right. So, Haden, relax. No one's trying to exterminate whites.
Oh, you want to talk to Haden?
Is he on the line? Sure.
Yeah, he is. Haden in Texas. Do you want to talk to Joe in Phoenix? He's on the line here.
Oh, I would love to talk to Joe from Phoenix.
Okay, let's hear it.
Lie after lie after lie. Anyone watching this show can watch the episode from yesterday and clearly see that I did not say whites are going to be exterminated in 2045. I said that the stat that you even repeated what I said, James, that Jesse said that the stat in 2045 says that we're going to be the minority. I don't fear for my race, Joe. You're the one that tries to put fear in these white people's minds, and that's what's ruining America. Not blacks or minorities. The words that y'all say is trying to put fear into whites, and I'm telling you right now, it's not working. It's not working. What you and John from Kentucky say has no impact on the whites whatsoever.
Calm down, Haden. I'm not trying to fear-monger anyone. And you did use the word exterminated or extinguished.
You're the one that calls in on the show. That shows fear, Joe.
Shows fear? How? By calling in? No.
On James' show. Everyone knows you're a troll. You're a troll to the point where James has to use a snake puppet every time you speak. That's a troll. So you and John from Kentucky watching.
Hayden, calm down. I am not your enemy.
Wait. But let him just speak. Don't be condescending. That sounds like you're.
I'm not a Democrat. I'll let him speak. All
right, go ahead.
Stop rambling and just listen for a second, Hayden. I'm not your enemy. I'm not trying to harm you in any way. I'm not trying to put fear in your heart in any way. And you don't have a race, Hayden. If you want to find that out, go to Race, the Power of an Illusion. Search for that, and you will see the science for it.
Science is dumb if it's going to do that because
that's
common experience says everybody identifies with different things, and whether that's right or wrong, and then different cultures of people, because Black Americans have different cultures from white Americans who have their different cultures, and they end up acting different and seeming different, and that has resulted in segregation sometimes, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. And it's resulted in forced integration, which has definitely in a lot of ways been a bad thing, but not completely bad because all things work together for good for those who love God.
Well, we disagree on that, James. But as I said a million times to you over the years,
James,
ghetto culture.
This is the guy we're listening to.
Be quiet.
This is the guy we're listening to. He just said every person on the planet has blue eyes.
Underneath it is blue. I think there's blue underneath everything, maybe.
Oh, come on.
I mean, I don't care. To me, that's like...
My goodness.
Okay.
Go ahead, Joe. I'm not
Joe.
a Democrat. I'll let you speak. I'll let you
It's
speak. I'm
just
not Democrat.
reality, Hayden. It's just reality.
It's not. It's dumb though. It's a dumb point, but it's okay. Go ahead.
Okay.
Stupid.
And James, I've said it for a million times. Ghetto culture is not black culture. Everything you talked about in terms of law and order and being good, decent people, it's well prevalent in the black culture, but it's not promoted. It's not highlighted. The gangster rap nonsense, the Hollywood nonsense, that's what sells. And that's what leads young people like Haden to believe that, black people are all thugs and gangsters and are out to get them. And, Haden, you're a young person. You have a lot of life to live. You're going to learn a great deal of things, hopefully.
I think you're in your imagination about what you think Haden thinks about the world and about blacks, and you're talking about it. It sounds like you're blaming Hollywood and the media and stuff for black culture and black thug culture and stuff like that, because the blacks are participating.
Believe it or not, James. But believe it or not, James, that is where the problems stem from. Is places like California and New York and stuff. But to his point. Well, yeah, it's California. They're both Democratic states. But anyways,
sure.
I believe the
I'm
exact
Democrat,
same
by
thing.
the way.
But yeah, okay. And you say you're a Christian too, but that's your colors are showing very, very easily. But anyways,
Hayden,
I believe the same thing that
James said.
Hold on, Joe. Let him finish.
Most blacks are corrupt. They have no common sense. That's why 80% of them are Democrats. Only 20 are conservatives. That's why Trump has to call up every black that comes to his rally up on stage, because they're the minority in the conservative party. Democrats have zero common sense, and the fact that you watch James's show full length every single day and call in just a troll, and he has to use a snake puppet every time you talk, speaks numbers, Joe. And you that shows how little of self-respect you have.
Calm down.
You call in every day.
Just relax.
You call in every day. That shows how little you have no respect for yourself. People make fun of you.
First of all, I could care less about that, Hayden. I call in with facts, data, statistics, and logic and common sense.
Oh my God!
Just because you don't like it, Hayden, you just said that the whole blue eye thing is false. Do 5 seconds of research.
But the blue eye thing is a moot point.
Okay, fine. Say it is. He just said it was false and I was lying. Hayden, do 5 seconds of research and you'll see what I'm saying is true. But the point is, Hayden, most black people are Democrats because of historical reasons, not because they lack common sense. Historically speaking, the Democratic Party was the party of big federal government who provided more protection than the GOP, which is more for states' rights, which, historically speaking, black people were afraid of because they were used to abuse black people. That's the only reason, Hayden. Now, that's going to be overcome by black men like me breaking down and dismantling the matriarchy. And that's what leads to all these problems. And thank you for not cutting me off again and just talking over me again. Because, again, Hayden, black people are not your enemy. We have a lot to fix in the poor black community, and we will fix it, and we are fixing it. But that ghetto culture is not black culture. There you go. Say again?
I said, y'all have been saying that for 70 years, that you're going to be fixing this and that every single decade for 70 years.
Yeah, it's only gotten worse.
Y'all are in the same condition you've been since 1960. The main issue is
worse.
Yes.
Actually, not true.
Y'all are just like William in California said yesterday. Y'all are 11% of the population, and people like you and John from Kentucky say that y'all going to take over the United States, turn us into slaves and stuff. It's all fantasy,
what?
Joe.
Who said that?
John in Kentucky?
I completely agree with you, Joe. I don't see blacks as an enemy whatsoever. The only problem with society is that you got these liberal whites who think they're such heroes for falling into all the black crap, and that's the only problem. If we wake those people up, then it's over. The whole black narrative is done with. But that's going to take some work to do. Cause go ahead.
First of all, no sane person We think that would even want to, or think it's possible to turn white people into slaves these days. Okay? And again, 54% of black men. Well,
it's in the Bible. It's in the Bible, Joe.
Or being stupid.
Yeah,
no, it's in the Bible. It's predicted in the Bible.
He says yeah, in Scripture, the one that he wrote.
Well, again,
so,
we can all agree that is crazy, Hayden.
After him and
I didn't last 10 seconds before you cut me off. Hayden, hold on.
After you and James' call, he started defending you, so that shows how credible he is. But go ahead. Go ahead.
Good grief, Hayden. All right. So 64% of black men are now in the middle class, so there's been a lot of progress in the last 70 years, Hayden. That number was less than 17% 60 years ago. So as things continue to improve and things continue to economically improve and we continue to dismantle the matriarchy, which, again, we can all agree was government funded and a certain plan by the government to remove the black man from the house, was destroy the black family, and lead to the problems we're seeing now. That takes a long time to overcome, and we are overcoming.
No, that's Joe in Phoenix. You've said a lot of things that aren't true, that don't make sense to me at all.
Oh, goodness gracious.
You made the claim that blacks are Democrats not because they lack common sense, but because of historical reasons, because the GOP is for smaller government and the bigger government, Democrats, are for taking care of the blacks and protecting the blacks from hate crimes or discrimination or something like that. That's an insane
bigger government, yeah.
That is if that's even true, which I know that they are for the bigger government, and they do. Blacks are appealing to the UN to cry racism against the United States over the Flint water crisis, I heard. And the UN is crying racism and violate. But that is a lack of common sense. And that is also, that's ridiculous. That's evil. And you're not going to, the matriarchy, hold on, let me, hold on. Because I want to be fair to you, but I want to pile a couple of different points onto you. One, they don't have common sense. That's why they vote Democrat. Two, they and what you said shows a lack of common sense too. I mean, I'm not saying, well, yeah, you lack common sense in saying that. But two,
okay, attack. Go ahead.
Well, I know, but I'm trying to make points. Okay, so one, yes, it is a lack of common sense. Two, the matriarchy has exploded, not shrunk. I mean, I think you know this. The female-headed households, I think, are like 78% among the black Native American, Native being born here, to people who were born here, households. The black American out-of-wedlock birth rate is like 78% or something last I checked. And
correct.
So... And them being
that
in the middle, them being in the quote-unquote middle class, that is not a sign of progress. Everybody's being richer, but we're more rich and spoiled and evil than ever. The degeneracy has expanded amongst the blacks and amongst all races, but the blacks' degeneracy and insanity and crying of racism and all that stuff has only gotten worse over the past 70 years.
Yes.
Okay. Can I
Yeah.
respond now?
So do you catch those 3 points?
Hold on, Hayden. Hold on, Hayden. Hold on.
So those 3 points are, yes, they lack common sense. The matriarchy is getting expanded into all the other races, and the immorality trumps the economic well-being.
Okay. Legal cases to back up what I was saying about big government versus small government, Plessy versus Ferguson, Brown versus Board of Education, very clearly shows that black people relied on the government, big government, to protect them when states' rights were impacting their life in a negative way. And that's why most black people trust big government and not states' rights. That's just a historical fact you can look up for yourself.
Whatever.
Secondly,
Okay.
Secondly,
that's weak, though.
It is weak. It's a lack of common sense.
When you rely on government, that's weak.
Yep.
That's totally weak.
Yeah.
And I agree with everything. I agree with everything Hake just said. It's not based on my age, Joe. It's called common sense. And you can't.
Again, you cut me off. I got maybe 10 seconds. I got maybe 10 seconds.
Hold on. Here you go interrupting me.
No. I got maybe 10 seconds.
go
I
to
wasn't
your-
even
No, it's
near
called common
done.
sense.
It wasn't even near done.
And then we have to wrap it up.
The past two shows I've watched, and you've been on the show attacking Mark, you and John attacking Mark, or whatever.
Uh-huh.
You haven't been able to support anything you say, and even Jesse on you even called Jesse on his show. He had to hang up on you, and he said the same thing. You have no common sense. You had nothing to back up what you say. So,
well, of course, because I destroyed Jesse on a
I
regular
really don't
basis.
know why you keep calling on the show when every single time you get hung up on and people make fun of you, Joe. It makes no sense. It makes no
Hayden,
sense
who cares
whatsoever.
what other folks say? And Hayden, everything I say, I back up with facts, sources. So you can keep lying about me not bringing actual stats, facts, and sources if you want to. Just keep living. You're very young. You're very young.
Yeah.
Now,
Here's the age thing. Go ahead.
well, it's just reality. Again, so look up those cases I gave you. And two, the matriarchy, James, that 78% is just out of wedlock births, not necessarily female-led households.
But look, the whole culture is woman leading. The whole culture is, and it started with the blacks, but it's among all the races, this feminism stuff, including actually blacks criticize whites because whites are like, oh, she's the boss, according to stuff. So this feminism thing is so out of control, you're not dismantling anything.
Oh,
and you'll have DEI on your side.
It's not getting there, it's getting more out of
100%.
control. You would be on Jesse's You would be on Jesse's side if you truly wanted to dismantle the matriarchy. You'd be like, yes, Jesse, men lead.
You're dismantling it in the weakest way possible. DEI.
51%, Hayden. 51% of black men are single and childless. Just relax.
That's not a good thing.
Relax and listen.
Okay, go ahead.
You mean women?
It's a very good thing.
No,
Y'all
it's not.
abandon your women. You abandon your women. That's the women's stat.
Single and childless, Hayden. You're not listening. Good grief. Just stop with your
Joe,
talking points.
you make yourself like a complete
That's because Obama turned them all gay,
you
Joe.
contradict yourself.
Okay, James. Okay. That's possible. Again, I'm the only one bringing actual stats. You guys are just attacking with no logic or reason at all.
That's not true.
Stats? Where are your stats, Joe? You said that every single time I've watched you, and there's nothing there. No stats.
What are you talking about, Hayden?
I'm telling you, you don't have any stats.
You're bringing up irrelevant stats that have nothing to do with anything.
No.
Every point I make, I backed up with stats, Hayden. Just because you don't believe them or understand them.
They're not good points, though.
They're not real.
Okay, go ahead.
No.
Okay, wrap up your argument against me about you dealt with the big government. You didn't deal with the lack of common sense, but that's okay. I don't expect you to because we already won that point. You dealt with the mothers, and now deal with the morality, the lack of morality, and then we got to wrap it up and end.
Yes, the lack of morality comes from the matriarchy as well.
Right. And the matriarchy is expanding. Joe Biden put a woman, and so did Obama put 2 women in the Supreme Court, so-called. And those are just symptoms of, like, this whole culture is pro-woman. It's out of control.
Well, you'll both be happy to know that the black birth rate has been declining by 20% over the last 20 years.
That's not a good thing?
It is a good thing because black men are figuring out that, we can't have babies.
That is a good thing. I agree with Joe on that. That's a good thing.
I don't think it is because back 20 years ago, they were less gay and, they were still very violent, but they were, 70 years ago, they were less violent maybe.
But don't get too happy, Hayden, because white people are doing the same thing, and it's James's fault. James is a 40-year-old man or somewhere around there with no wife and no kids.
But
so you're worried about.
I blame society. I blame society. It's not my fault.
Exactly. 100% right, James. The impact you guys are having in trying to normalize y'all's thug behavior, that's why society is the way it is today, Joe.
Who was you guys? Who was you guys?
The person I'm talking to, the one who's defending his race rather than what's good versus evil. That's who I'm talking to.
So me, I'm a guy married to the same woman for 26 plus years, raised 2 wonderful kids who are now
that doesn't mean anything.
through college.
That doesn't mean you're a Democrat. You're a Democrat and you claim to be a Christian, but everything you say contradicts that, Joe. Everything you say contradicts you're a Christian.
I have a 20 plus year track record of working with the GOP here in Arizona. I'm the one who worked with McCain. I'm the one who worked with multiple senators. I'm the one who's actually got stuff done in Congress for the GOP. So you can call me a Democrat all you want to. You're just being blind and hateful for no reason, Hayden.
All right,
No reason
guys.
at all.
This has been fun. I got to run. Nice talking with you. Hayden in Texas, thanks for calling. Appreciate you, man.
Yeah,
And,
I'll call you tomorrow too.
and Joe in Phoenix, have a nice one.
Well, we try to get along today, James.
All
Have a
right.
good day. And Hayden, keep on living. You have a lot of life to learn, a lot of things to learn. So have a good day.
Oh, yeah.
Bye.
Same to you, Joe. Same to you.
All right. Take care, Hayden. Appreciate it, man.
See you, James.
All right. What a mess. Let me read some super chats before I get back to calls, okay, guys? We blew through the break. No breaks. No break for Hake. Over on Rumble, some Rumble rants. Jabrail NTP is now a monthly supporter on both the Jesse Lee Peterson Show and the Hake Report Rumble. Jesse Lee Peterson Rumble, the Hake Report Rumble. WT1 says the blacks were throwing orange juice on whites at my college after the OJ verdict. What a mess. Wow, WT. I was not in college during the OJ verdict. Yeah, dang. Interesting point. That's wild. That handyman says, Joe lied again, Hayden, and it's Haden, not Hayden. Joe lied again, and thank you, that handyman, he spelled it right. Hayden never said exterminated. Mark's right, you need to check Joe for his open lies. Very interesting, that handyman, he lies and he misremembers and he makes up stuff just like John from Kentucky saying that Trump took the gay flag, the rainbow flag, and put it on him like a cape and ran around the stage with it. And no, he did not. You just made that up out of your imagination or somebody else told you, or the Mandela effect, you misremember. And Joe from Phoenix does misremember stuff. It's true, or lie, or make up stuff, or something. And also, he toots his own horn a bit. He seems to have a haughty spirit. Haughty spirit. But thank you, Joe in Phoenix. Yes, I am attacking your character on after I hang up with you. Yes, I am. And what? I got to read these from this person over here. The zesty one. I disavow this name. Change your name. Bought 3 coffees. As promised, my list of best and worst callers. Worst, Jaime calls too much. William, I can't say that. I can't say Sambo, can I? Daniel, the South lost. Daniel he's not on Team South. Rick, great joy, but hates being black. Lord. Keith, no comment. Art, he rolls with Trump. CJ, the biggest hater on earth. Best, Maze, we call her mother. Tony, we call him Unk. Where is he? Unk with a K or Unk with a C? Freddie, he gets y'all flustered. Ms. Parks, a one-time legend. Joe, he's really smart. Oh, Lord. John from Kentucky, he makes you question yourself. That's funny. Jeremiah, T, Chuck, Earl, or people I wish called in. Everybody's special. I love you all the same. That's what Hake is saying. If I love anybody. And I don't know about loving all the same. That might just be something that I learned from my mother, not from God. But anyway, shout out to the mothers. People I wish still called in. Yeah, Earl, Chuck, T, Jeremiah. Mark, he shows his ignorance and showcases his evil will, but he also gets stressed so quickly. And of course, myself, because you tremble when I call or super chat. No need, I don't hate you, I just really dislike, which is the same thing, really. Serious question, do you think those who died at Pulse deserved it? The Lord works in mysterious ways. No, I don't think that... Are you trying to get me banned for something like that? No, I don't think they deserved it. No. I mean, you could say we get what we deserve in life, but in these times, you never know what's going to happen. Whether you're at a nightclub, or you're at a Ariana Grande concert, or you're at the market, or whatever, or at a church meeting, there are evil people doing evil things, and you never know. I say Baja, man, like the group, but I know you like the J sound, Baja or Baja. Happy evil James. Happy what comes before the fall, James, and have the day you deserve. So he says, and then he also says with another coffee, dang it, James, you might not like me, but at least give me the respect to read my occasional super chats. Also, I forgot to mention Boomhauer, also one of the callers on the worst list. Jeff from Louisiana, Jason from New York, and Steven from Maryland are cool, though. Am I the closest person you know to the Z community? The evil false identity community? I thought you just liked them. I didn't know that you were part of them. I thought you just supported them. Just because you're one of those dumb, nice liberals. I didn't know you had a false identity like that. Anyway, that's what some people tell me, though. I wonder if that's why you hate me so much, because you haven't given me a reason I ever do, and I can only assume there's no hatred here. If there's no hatred for anywhere. And when you assume, you make a blank out of you. Shout out to such and such, so-and-so, so-and-so. Nice. You tuckered me out. More super chats from Coldburger Art, 5 coffees. Thank you, Coldburger Art. Appreciate that. Hey, James, real peace is unmoved by worldly events. Referring to my call with Ashley from Texas from the end of the Jesse Lee Peterson show, I guest hosted third hour. To me, that means all situations would be part of that peace. Even a robbery can be a peaceful experience. Or no men's forum. What? I know. We like the men's forums. They're a highlight of the month. Indeed. Terry says, Hake filled in for Joelle and Jesse this week. Where would they be without this hard-working white man? Am I hard-working or am I hardly working? Thank you, Terry. Popcorn Thump Cake, a coffee. You mentioned to one of your callers a talking point that Jesse has used regarding illegal immigration. Black people are affected first and foremost by illegal immigration. Does that bother you? Assuming that that statement is true. What do you mean assuming? It's clearly true. Quote, question. Does the fact that black people are affected the most by illegal immigration matter to you, Hake? No, doesn't matter to me. But I'm just pointing out reality. It affects the people who are vulnerable first. An ill on society affects the people vulnerable to that ill. Okay? Is any part of your opposition to illegal immigration truly because it's hurting black people? No, because it's wrong. I oppose illegal immigration because it's wrong to illegal immigrate. Duh! Common sense. And then it brings all sorts of symptoms and other ills. The symptoms are not why I oppose it. I oppose it because it's wrong. Common sense. Illegal? Get out of here. But shout out to the illegals. I know some illegals and some illegals that become based. But you still got it. Wrong is wrong and right is right. So yeah, I don't know about you, but I base my politics on right and wrong. Because that's all I know is right and wrong. And maybe I'm not even sure of that anymore. The reason I ask is because it seems like bringing up that point, again, assuming it's true, you have to be blind if you think that you have to assume that it's true. Is to use it as a dig at the person you're debating as a way to say, if you don't care about black people, the ones that are impacted by the most, then you don't really care about black people, which is a true statement. That would be a fair point if you or anyone else who points that out actually cared that black people were the ones being impacted. Not really. Not really. Not really, because nobody actually at all cares about anybody. But let me finish his statement, because I'm interrupting his statement, and it's might be cheating and taking away from his point, and he bought a coffee. But I don't know that's to be the case. Don't use the plight of black people as a way to push a narrative. Why not? It's a reality. It's the truth. And people are only pretending, the Democrats, for example, the rhinos who pretend to care about blacks but let the illegal immigration come in. Why not? If you don't really care about the black people, care that the black people are the ones being harmed. You don't care, I don't care, nobody cares about anybody. Nope, not at all. Only emotionally about the ones you know. Or if you get in your imagination about the ones that you hear about or read about, and then it's just emotional. Can you elaborate on why you personally care that blacks are impacted by it? I've never even brought it up as a point to, like, in addressing people. I just bring up that the vulnerable, I make the point, don't be vulnerable, such as the blacks. They don't have to be the ones affected first and foremost if they just have a good attitude and work anyway. Whites, too. The whites who are, a lot of white men are like incels and can't get jobs and stuff like that. And then they doom themselves by having the attitude, oh, they're discriminating against me because I'm white and a man and blah, 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 and not attractive, blah, blah, blah. That's a can't-do attitude. Have a can-do attitude and just work anyway. So that's, yeah, I don't care about the blacks. I shout out to the blacks. If I love anybody, I love the blacks. But that's up to God to care for you, and it's up to you to care for yourself. And it's up to me. I can barely care for myself. Look at me. Thank you, Popcorn Stump Cake. I hope I addressed that fairly and satisfactorily. JLP definitely loves the black people. He brings up that great point, and it doesn't even take but a little bit of common sense to see that they're the ones affected by it. Pushing them out of the schools. Their schools get more inferior. They do the bilingual stuff. They go to the hospitals, and they're pushed out of the hospitals. They're competing for services because they're relying on the government. It's not good to be relying on the government because then you're in a waiting line. Up in Canada, they have like don't they have with the socialized healthcare that's up in Canada, so-called healthcare, don't they have get on a waiting list? Everybody's vulnerable in Canada unless you're rich enough to go to another country for your stuff, or maybe you can get some private thing. So my message to the blacks and the whites and the men and the women, don't be vulnerable. Yes, Christ's message was care only about yourself. No, it doesn't care about anybody. Christ never said to care about anybody. It says God cares for you. You're a mess, Hake. Big smile. Take care of yourself. Take care of yourself. Duh. Anyway, Zenny is like the Joe from Phoenix of the Christians. In his imagination about meanings. Shout out to Zenny. Nice to see you in the chat, man. Yes, Snake. Playing around. Half kidding. Okay. Thank you, Popcorn Stump Cake. That was cool. And I think we're all caught up. Hey. Okay. Eric in Arizona is on the line over here. Eric, thank you for calling and holding. What's up, man?
Hello, Hake.
Hey.
Nothing much. How you doing?
Doing well. Thank you.
Yeah, I just wanted to highlight beyond this Caitlin Clark thing, because for me that's just fodder. I knew that was going to happen. You know, them highlighting her and then giving her a hard time or whatnot. But anyways, there was this gal named Candice Wiggins who wrote a book about how she got bullied basically because she was a straight Christian female, and she basically exposed the WNBA for the culture that it is inside the locker room, and then it carries over onto the court, and basically the lesbians against the straight.
Whoa.
And, she highlights that whole thing that she went through, and she had a full career. She didn't cut it short, and she dealt with that her whole career. And she actually got the attention of the WNBA because a lot of sources came out against her to try to disprove her.
Wow.
Which was proof to me that, wow, you know, this gal really.
You cut out there, Eric in Arizona.
Oh, I just the backlash against her was proof to me that she really struck a nerve, and it was possibly true what she was saying.
Yeah. True.
Candice Wiggins, yes.
Well, thank you for the tip, man. I prefer you send tips to me via other means, but pretty interesting that don't be name dropping and stuff like that. But
Right, but it's old news. This Caitlin Clark thing is just fodder.
Yeah.
Fodder is when you grind up the whole corn plant and you feed it to the cow. That's fodder for us. But it's gonna ride. Caitlin Clark is gonna.
What is fodder? So you explain what fodder is literally, but what is it a metaphor for? Why do people say that's fodder? What's fodder?
So fodder is them just giving us a bunch of the whole corn plant, and then we're chewing it up and grinding it up as entertainment, or we think it's an issue, but it's really just fodder. It's not the grain.
Oh.
It's not, so it's like me eating the seed and not the fruit.
Oh, okay. So we're not getting the real. We're not dealing with the real issue.
Right. We're being distracted.
Ah, okay. Interesting. I never knew that. And that's a common phrase. I'm so white, yet I don't know what fodder meant, really. I mean, I kind of knew by context. Hake doesn't have a good vocabulary.
Well, you're from the San Gabriel Valley, man, so I can't hold it to you.
Right. Well, thank you, man. Thank you for the tip. I'm not surprised because it is sort of women who are in the sports. Oftentimes, they're kind of like that. They're not morally straight. And I would expect, especially in a commie capitalist culture such as the NBA and WNBA, that it would be not morally straight in the way that you just described. So, thank you very much.
And a lot of anger, and that's what that gal talks about. A lot of anger that she didn't even know. It wasn't even about basketball. After a while,
right?
It wasn't about winning. It just took on its a demon spirit, and that's what we're watching.
Yeah,
that's what's being revealed.
Well, the Christians got to watch ourselves, because the woman you mentioned and all of us, we don't want to be having this dumb, evil persecution complex, or the Christians under attack, the whites are under attack. It's true, they are, but you don't want to have you want to have a perfect spirit to be a light in the world, whatever's happening.
Right.
Anyway, man,
it's
nice.
Have to be watching. We have to be watching more than reacting.
Yeah. True.
Yeah.
Well, it's great hearing from you, Eric in Arizona.
Yeah. And I heard what you told me. This is better for another platform.
Well, I prefer that you not mention the name of the book and the name of the person without permission and stuff like that. You just don't do that because we haven't looked into it, and I don't want my platform or any of the JLP platforms to be used to promote stuff that we don't even know anything about without our permission.
Right.
Yeah. So just send tips like that, and then just keep it general when you can't really But I appreciate it, man.
General.
Yeah.
Yes.
Appreciate you, Eric in Arizona. Call me again.
Yes, I will. Have a good day.
You too, man.
All right, bye.
Bye. Jeff in Louisiana on the line here. Jeff has been on hold for quite some time. Good to hear from you, man.
How you doing today, man?
Doing well. Thank you.
I just want to comment real quick on your... Okay, let me ask you a question real quick. Those super chats you read, are those paid for?
Yeah, most of them. Okay. Sometimes I'll read people's regular chats in the live chat or some comment or whatever, but most of the time people donate.
Yeah, but I mean, take a break and read them. That's what I was asking, because I want to make a point that was funny to me. It made me laugh while ago.
Okay.
You read a super chat from a guy that I was on the list. Every call he disliked was white or conservative.
Interesting. Yeah.
And the funny thing is, though, is what he do. He didn't call in and say that. He paid a white conservative man to read it to us.
True. Very good point, man.
So it's not about race. It's about conservatism.
Yeah.
Why? It's not. We don't hate black people. We don't hate people. We don't hate nobody. We hate our government giving out free money. People do nothing.
Yeah. True.
And that's the whole point.
Yeah.
Is our government paying are the Democrats and well, I don't hate the Democrats. I dislike them, but my problem is hopefully this won't cause you in trouble. Is since Biden got off, I call them pedocrats.
Oh man, I disavow that. You're referring to how they're with children and stuff. How they are with children. I mean, they are. Yeah. Okay. So, and you mean that literally? Do you mean that literally or figuratively?
I mean it literally. You look
okay.
At,
okay. No, let me stop you there just for the sake of my channel, and I don't want to get too nasty or personal or anything like that. But I say it. I could accept it figuratively. And the figuratively thing is like kind of worse and more widespread because the spirit of, look at Joe Biden and Obama. They wanted preschool or pre-kindergarten for everybody. Target the kids, push the gay agenda on the kids, and push the racism thing on the kids. And all these people pretend like they're for kids and they're evil. Teachers. Yep. Anyway.
I'm not including. I may be wrong or right, but I'm not including Obama in this. I'm including Joe Biden because
of his thing, of the picture, of the videos of him being weird. Is that what you mean?
The videos, the daughter's diary, they proved it's real. She's come out and stated it's real, and most importantly, is the surgeries and all this crap they're doing.
Oh, the transgender stuff that they're making kids, that they're pushing on kids, huh?
Yeah, and teachers in school,
right,
teaching this crap in class.
Yeah.
They won't. You can't.
I don't know about the Biden thing. I don't want to feed into that, and I encourage. I don't want to argue about it, but I want to encourage you and everybody else in my chat because a lot of people will make assertions, and leave an I don't know, and also like don't feed into this. Every expression of normal affection to a kid by a man is PDF. You know what I mean? Because there is a brainwashing. Leave Joe Biden aside for the moment. Just there's this brainwashing of men should avoid kids. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I get what you're saying. Okay, like you're saying, I understand that, and I agree with you on that.
Yeah.
There's just certain things about him that he's done. But I agree with you on that because there's a guy on TV. I was watching a documentary yesterday. You know, a guy moved to a neighborhood, and he was actually a nurse for 20 years. And the people said was calling him as a kid that was called. You know, he said hate his sister or something when she walked by, and guys was calling him a PDF.
Right. Yeah. And so they throw this word around at people. The Apple River guy, the Romanian guy who stabbed a bunch of them, they had called him a PDF for no apparent real reason, I think. So that's an evil thing that's going after the men.
The problem is in the world today, there's this holdover man. They know that they call you a PDF, they call you a R word, or
apist,
somebody or something like that.
Yep.
If you say any of those to man, his life is burnt with no proof.
Yeah.
And that's the problem. Man, I ain't gonna hold you up, man. I just want to call and say I found that kind of funny. The guy pays the guys to spew his hatred.
Well, in fairness, he's one of the people who's banned. He's one of the few people who's still banned, so he has to do it through Super Chat. But anyway, yeah.
All right.
It's still, regardless, he's still paying. Nice.
Let me give a word of advice, and he call and say, "Hey, my name ain't Jim, it's Bob."
That's funny. All right, Jeff. You too. Take care. Bye. Justin in Fullerton, California. You only have like a couple of minutes here. Let's hear it.
All right. Thanks for taking my call, James. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Just valued your insight. I knew that I wanted to talk to Jesse today, but I was going to think that I'll save it for another time when he's in. So I was curious, when might we put the Bible down today as Christians? Since in the past, we didn't have a collection of books and letters to the churches and stuff.
As the Spirit leads, because you read it, and even the Bible says, and it rings true. With much learning comes much problems and sorrow and stuff like that. Like, and it also says knowledge puffs up, but love builds up. You can, I remember at one point I was poring over the Bible till like 3 a.m. every day in college. And, but I wasn't praying, or I would do what I thought was praying. I would just be like either writing my so-called prayers or thinking I was praying, but it wasn't real. It wasn't real praying. It was just like vanity, many words. Jesus even said many words, vanity. So, vain prayers with many words, all that babbling. So there are times to definitely to put it down, and as he said himself, that he would send us the teacher to guide us in all things and bring things to remembrance what we need. And there is a false worship of the Bible, as though the Bible is God, or the word of God, and it never calls itself the word of God. Like I think you referenced on American Anchor Baby, you called his show and said, "Man shall not live on bread alone, but everything that comes out of the mouth of the Lord." And that's more than just the Bible. That is the Holy Spirit in you. There's life to that is not in people who just quote the Bible. That can be lifeless.
So how's one supposed to know about God or Jesus or that Holy Spirit he gives to those, like the counselor, the teacher you're referring to?
Well, the Bible itself even says that people who've never even heard have the law unto themselves because the Holy Spirit's in them. Something like that. It may not say that exactly, but they follow the law in their hearts. Doesn't the Bible say they follow the law in their hearts? They've never even heard the Bible or heard the gospel, but they follow the law in their hearts. Have you heard that in the Bible, something to that effect?
No.
Oh, it's in there.
Honestly,
you got to check it out. It's in there. And it's common sense too. Because God made all of us, and he's in you.
So if somebody is on an island far away from civilization, that would apply, I guess. Yeah.
And you know what else?
Children?
It applies everywhere to everyone. And you know what else? Since the mass production of the Bible, the Christians have gotten worse. The Christian church is a mess.
Where do we find about the church and we find about God's words? We would think that Jesus quoting all the scriptures to the Jews wasn't going to bring them salvation, but he said he was the fulfillment of the law. So I just think that people are looking at a mass-produced book as opposed to gaining the knowledge that comes from it, gaining the lifestyle that God dictates for us. And if we don't follow that, that's fine. We don't know what the word is because we never grew up with it. But if we knew it and we're held accountable to what we know, that's all we can be held accountable to. So I would say people should be increasing their knowledge of God, not fearful that they're doing everything perfect or not doing it perfect to the T of the law, because we're supposed to be set free. But if we're not even knowing about Moses and all the prophets, how are we supposed to know that Jesus is the fulfillment of the law?
I don't know what your point is. You're kind of saying a whole lot of unrelated things, or maybe I'm just not catching it. But I have to wrap it up, man.
Jesus came to fulfill the law, and we're not living under the law because many don't even know what the law is. We're not Jews living in Judea.
I have to wrap it up. Did you tell Anchor Baby that you have anxiety or something?
Oh, I said, anxiety. I cast my anxious thoughts.
So you get anxiety?
And I resist the devil. Yeah.
So you still do get anxiety?
Yeah, so by praying, by reading his words, I'm delivered from the devil, and the anxiety goes away.
Oh, that's what you have to do?
It's not like magic. Yeah, it's not incantations you have to do to be set free, but the release is the restoring of your mind.
I appreciate it, Justin and Fullerton. Got to wrap it up for Joel Friday TV. Good to hear from you, man.
All right. Well, nice talking to you.
Yeah, let's talk again.
God bless. 2024 for Trump.
All right.
Let's go.
Bye. It's Listen to Hake News. Emmanuel in Canada and Rick in Hampton, Virginia. Cannot get to you guys. Catch Joel Friday TV coming up next. Bye. I think.
Don't take the bait. You know they are fake. Just stop and wait. You could see the hate.
Adriana.
There's no debate. Listen to Hake News.
Adios, America. Bye.